Okay, welcome back to this second part of the tutorial on the trading process. We'll be dealing with the trading process in practice right here in this part. So the first part of that is to find or identify the trend, and we'll be quickly going over to the trading platform to do that. Okay, here we are in the platform. Let me close this trade that was there already. All right, now let's delete this so that we can have a clean chart to work with. All right, now in finding the trend, there are several ways to do that and several tools to use. First, you may want to use the trend line to find the trend. Next, you may want to use price or price action to find the trend. Again, you might want to use technical indicators to find the trend. You may also want to use some other advanced tools, market correlations, to find the trend. There is an indicator called the COT reports. It's an advanced indicator that you may use to find the trend. So, but at this level, we want to make things simple. We'll be using the moving average, or rather we'll be using technical indicator. We'll just pick one or two technical indicators to determine the trend. Okay, so that's what we'll be dealing with here. All right, now if you want to find the trend, it's always important that you do that from the bigger picture. What I mean by the bigger picture, to do it from a higher time frame. In finding the trend, please do it from the higher time frame. It will give you an insight into where the market is going over the long haul. Then you can then make your entry decisions within the lower time frame. Please, determining your entry and exit, you may do that within the lower time frame, but for your trend, please always do that from the higher time frame. For example, as a day trader, you may want to be looking for the trend from the daily time frame D1, while as a swing trader or position trader, you may be working with the monthly and the weekly time frame. So now let's operate as day traders here. Okay, so being a day trader, I want to find a trend. If I want to use price or moving average, let's quickly use price. In using price, all I'll just do is to compare what happened yesterday with the day before it, and that will guide me into what we expect today in very simple terms without wasting time. It won't take me more than 5 minutes to do that. For example, if I point my cursor here, I'll be looking for the high price for the 2 days ago and the low price, and then I'll compare it with the high price for yesterday and the low price. Then I'll do that. Now the high price for 2 days ago was 1.555545. Now when compared with the high price for yesterday, I have 1.5649. So yesterday's high was higher than that of 2 days ago. So in that case, I have a higher high, meaning that the market has recorded a new high price compared with the day before yesterday. Now for the low, I check, it recorded a low of 1.5420, while for yesterday it recorded a low of 1.5494. 2 days ago recorded 1.5420, and yesterday recorded 1.5494. So what we have here is that the high of yesterday was higher than the high of 2 days ago, giving us a higher low. So now we have a higher high and a higher low. So with higher high and higher low, what does that point to? It's telling me that there is a high probability. Remember, in trading we use the word probability a lot because it's not an exact science. All right, so there is a high probability that the market today is going to record a new high. If, remember, in technical analysis we work with history. Okay, so if historically speaking that yesterday recorded a high that was higher than 2 days ago, now there is every indication also a high probability that today will record a new high than yesterday. So based on that, we will conclude that today the market is going to be in an uptrend. So that one is done. There's an uptrend based on that price comparative analysis I did there. Now the next tool I may want to use is technical indicator. Okay, I use moving average in this case. Now how to use moving average? By default, moving average comes with 14 period. all right, moving average, but I want it to be at 21 period, all right, and simple moving average I'm using, and I'm setting this on red already, and I've selected the border line here, okay, and I bring it here. Now the relationship between price and moving average is what you use to determine trend using moving average. Okay, now you want to compare price and moving average to know whether current price is higher than moving average or lower than moving average. In simple terms, when price is higher than the moving average, the market is in an uptrend mode, and on the other hand, when price is lower than the moving average, the market is in a downward mode, in a downtrend. For instance, here price was higher than moving average, so it was in an uptrend. Okay, while here price was lower than the moving average, so it was in a downtrend. But currently, see moving average here and see price here. So in this case, price in an uptrend, which has confirmed the simple price comparative analysis that we did earlier, that we are expecting today to go higher. All right, so based on this, we have confirmed that the market is in an uptrend. Now another tool I may want to use to now confirm, I like this indicator also, that's the average directional movement index, and by default this is how it comes. I'll just go back and switch it to default mode. This is how it comes, but I can modify it. All right, just right click again, right click on any place there on indicator, select that. I want this to be red, so I could just delete this and then type red, and then I select the border line here. I leave the period at default 14. Now colors, I want the plus ZI to be blue, and I want the minus ZI to be gold. I could also type it if I want gold, GOLD. All right, now select the border line. I want it to be bold so that I can, it could be visible. All right, nice. Click OK. Now how to use the average directional movement index is simple. There are three lines here. One here, the one in the middle, the red line is the ADX. Okay, that is the ADX, the average directional movement index, and that's called the signal line. While the blue one is plus DI, that's positive directional index. DI is directional index. While the lower one, the yellow here, the gold there, is minus DI, that's negative directional index. Now the relationship between the negative directional index and the positive directional index, in this case blue and gold, is what determines what trend is in place. So whenever the plus ZI is higher in value, you can see that plus ZI here is 22.1652. Whenever it's higher than the minus ZI, which is the golden color, here you can see that it's about 13.9019. You see that 22 is higher than 13. So whenever plus ZI is higher than minus ZI, the market is in an uptrend. And whenever the minus ZI, like here, is 30 point, the minus ZI here is at 29.4439, is higher than plus ZI at 14 points. You say that the trend is down. When minus ZI is higher than plus ZI, the trend is down, and when plus ZI is higher than minus ZI, you say the trend is up. Okay, now use the ADX to determine the strength of the trend. Okay, so plus the ADX does not respect any side. All it tells you is how strong whatever trend you have identified is. So here we have identified an uptrend with the ADX, but the trend ADX is telling you that it's a weak trend, though, but it's an uptrend, but it's weak. While the moving average says it's an uptrend, and the price comparative analysis says it's an uptrend. Okay, so while this one saying that it's weak, it may just be a caution for us. Though we have identified an uptrend, we really have to also trade cautiously. Okay, and in trading cautiously, you want to also begin to now watch the support and resistance lines, or what we also know as key levels. So, but we are not yet there. So in this case now, we've identified an uptrend. Having identified an uptrend, in an uptrend, you look for opportunities to buy, while in a downtrend, you look for opportunities to sell. Now, so on the daily time frame, we have identified our trend since we are doing day trading. If I want to do a weekly trading, I also could switch to weekly time frame and look at it on the weekly time frame. Also, plus ZI is higher than minus ZI, and the ADX is weak still. And also, you see that here last week, all right, price was 1.5573, and the week before it for the high was at 1 point something around 1 point, let me see, You could also watch the base here, the default here, to get that if it's not coming out. So here is at 1.5412. So we have a higher high last week, and the low of last 2 weeks ago was at 1.5100, while the low of last week was 1.5204. So we have a higher high and a higher low last week, so which is an indication that this week also price is going to be going high, and already price has recorded a new high. Okay, so and the low so far this week is still higher than that of last week, which may be an indication that next week, today is Friday, the end of the trading week for this week, which is an indication that next week it might be going up still. So based on this, on the weekly time frame, if I'm trading for the week on the weekly basis, I'll have in mind made up already that the trend is an uptrend. So based on that, we have an uptrend. If you want to check the monthly, on the monthly time frame also, if you compare last month with the month before, is in a downward trend. This one is higher at 1.5752, and last month was 1.5436, and the low of the 2 months ago was 1.5163, and that of last month was 1.4813. So on a monthly basis, it's on a downward trend, even though weak, very weak. All right, and ADX, yeah, you see that ADX minus ZI is higher than plus ZI, even though they're about meeting. Okay, but it's quite a weak trend. So on the monthly time frame, it's in a downward trend but very weak. On the weekly time frame, it's in an upward trend but weak. On the daily time frame, it's also in an upward trend but weak. So for a day trader, your mind should be made up that the market is an upward trend. All right, so having identified the trend, the next thing to do now is to determine your entry and your exit levels, and we'll be doing that in the third part of this lesson on the trading process. Try checking up all the other videos. See you at the top.